What's going on, Jeromes? Q&A at an undisclosed location. You guys are the best. So let's dive on into this thing. And first up is Matha Mernick. Nailed it. Does Darnold have a breakout season and throw for 3,500 plus yards, 30 plus touchdowns? I believe he has it in him. Skull. I believe so too. And this offense is very quarterback friendly. Kevin O'Connell loves to throw the ball, even though he's talked about establishing the run more this year. But also, that is greatly going to benefit Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy or whoever the hell is under center. And Aaron Jones is an obvious upgrade over Alexander Madison. I like Madison a lot. He isn't an RB1, is what it is. But Darnold, I mean, what is going to stop Darnold from being 2023 Baker, 2022 Geno, 2002 Rich Gannon, besides Sam Darnold? But the whole thing about it is that he has had all the potential in the world with the Jets and with the Panthers, didn't work. And also, we've said this ad nauseum. Don't sleep on that 1 year last year as backup with the Niners, where yes, he was Brock Purdy's backup, but being around a high caliber team with good coaching and good weapons, and in a system that's very similar to what Kevin O'Connell asks of his quarterbacks, and also having a Super Bowl run, I mean, that will stick with the guy. And I think that last year, even though he was a backup, might have been the most beneficial year for him in his career to date. Now, I think that Darnold, he's got the arm, he's got confidence, he knows that he's going to be quarterback one in this spot. And with all the weapons, with J.J. Addison, Hockenson, Kevin O'Connell, Josh McCown, his guy, I think this all adds up to Darnold. Well, first off, if Darnold fails now, like, he was never just going to have it, man. It just wasn't going to happen. But everything is set up for him to have a phenomenal season. Leads into question 2, what if brigade? One question in 2 parts. What stats and or wins would make you want to resign Sam Darnold? Obviously, if he has a Vikings Brett Favre magical season, blah, 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 blah. What is the minimum? Now, I don't think that there's a hard, fast Rubicon with the stats, but if he's in the 3,500 yards, 25, 27 touchdown area, and the Vikings are in double-digit wins contending for the playoffs and the division, you'd have to give a long, hard look to Sam Darnold. Now, this could be the best possible scenario for the Vikings. And I've said that before, where if Sam Darnold balls the F out and the Vikings have a tough decision whether to sign Darnold to a small extension, it's sort of like what the Seahawks did with Geno, sort of what the Buccaneers did with Baker Mayfield, or do they have him play on the franchise tag? They have the cap space to weather that storm, or do they tag and potentially trade him? I think all the options are on the table, and I think tag and trade could be the best possible option because having a starting quarterback in his prime is extremely valuable. And with next year's quarterback class seemingly a little bit more depressed, that definitely would enhance Sam Darnold's value, especially since he's only going to be 27 next year. And the Vikings, could recoup some of those draft picks that they used in the trade-offs for McCarthy and Diamond Dallas Turner, or hell, maybe even. Could you imagine securing a future one for Sam Darnold? Let's go. Let's go, man. And then if Kevin O'Connell and company feel completely confident that J.J. McCarthy is ready to roll in year 2, and you could do that. Or, hell, maybe Sam Darnold plays so well, and like we said, he is young, that all of a sudden you decide, okay, let's roll with him for a couple of years, and we'll even give McCarthy a little extra time to marinate. Because remember, McCarthy's only 21, and also remember, Jordan Love sat for 3 years, Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years, Steve Young sat for a number of years behind Joe Montana after he came over from the Buccaneers. So, I mean, it's not unheard of, right? And again, it would be a very, very good problem to have. Worst case scenario for the Vikings, I think, would be if Darnold completely is ass, thank you, and McCarthy has to play before he's ready this year. Next up, news in 60 seconds. What makes Justin Jefferson's game so special, separates him from other receivers in the league, and led to his historic extension? I think there's a couple things. So the receivers throughout history, you look at Megatron, you look at Randy Moss, you look at A.J. Green. I mean, some guys were just absolute physical specimens, right? You even look at Tyreek Hill and his speed. Like, Megatron's size and speed and physicality, Randy Moss's size, jumping ability and speed, A.J. Green, combination of everything, right? Larry Fitzgerald definitely wasn't a speed guy, but physicality, reliability, all that stuff. But Jefferson really is the entire package. Like, he's not physically imposing. Like, he's just over 6'1". He's not the fastest guy in the world. He's not the quickest guy in the world. But he is extremely good at everything that it takes to be a competent receiver, right? Well, now, it may sound weird, but I feel like the Jerry Rice comps are probably closest, even though Jerry Rice, JJ would smoke Jerry Rice in a foot race. I think Jerry Rice ran like a 4.740. But what JJ brings to the table is he is a pure clinician when it comes to route running. I mean, that route that he put on Stephon Gilmore in the Colts comeback game, like that still sticks with me, man. So he changes things up. His rocker step at the line of scrimmage is extremely hard for defenders to put a mid on him and press him at the line of scrimmage. And also, what stands out about him the most is that teams know that he's getting the ball. Teams will double team, bracket, triple team him, and he still gets the ball. He is the league leader. He's the NFL leader in terms of yards per game for a career, and I think that he'll hold that distinction throughout his career because it doesn't matter what happens. Like, you could try and take him out of the game plan, and other guys are going to get hit theirs, but JJ is inevitable. And the thing about it is, I feel like he doesn't take snaps off. He feels like every single play, the ball could come his way because he is so good at getting open. He's such a clean route runner. He's such a creative route runner as well. Like, he really is teach tape for coaches. Also, he's got great hands. And like I said, he's not the biggest receiver out there, but he is fantastic in contested catch situations, which we've obviously seen. F at JJ down there somewhere. And I feel like he's, not only is he adept at beating man, he's very good at reading the defense, diagnosing what coverage they're in, sitting down in the dead spots of a zone, and really being the best friend for a quarterback. And I think that one of the reasons why Kurt had a career renaissance the last couple of years with O'Connell really has to do with Justin friggin' Jefferson as well. So I think JJ is one of those players that will make everyone around him better, especially the quarterback. You can't say that about all the the tier one receivers. So that's what makes JJ great. And also, so a lot of players will say it's not about the money. You believe it with Justin Jefferson. You do. And you could say, like, well, obviously it is because he's the highest paid. Yeah, but a lot of players will chase greatness because of the money. Justin Jefferson chases greatness to be great. And there's a big time difference there, and money comes along with it because it'd be so stupid if you're the best at your position, best non-quarterback in the league, and you get paid the league minimum. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, man. Sticking with JJ, Blake Gleason, hey Andy, love the channel. Love you, man. I started watching a little over a year ago, and I've watched every episode every day. Can you please explain why a 4 or 5 year extension would be considered long term? And do you think Justin Jefferson should have had a 5-year contract? Happy birthday. Hey. Thank you. A little bit early, but of course we're at an undisclosed location. But so, I mean, technically it is a 5-year contract since they revised his 5th-year option that he's playing on this year. But it's considered long-term because that's what's considered long-term. Now, you do have outlier contracts, like Danielle Hunter's 5-6 year deal, Tyron Smith's 10-year contract, Patrick Mahomes' 10-year deal. But the thing about it is, like, it's really stupid when players generally sign long-term deals because whether it's 3, 4, 5, generally it's a signing bonus, which is guaranteed and prorates over the course of the deal, and generally it's the first year of the extension that's guaranteed. That's it. That's really it. Now, the longer the deal, and say it's a 5-year deal and guaranteed money is out after the first year, then all of a sudden the team has full control because there's no guaranteed money left in the contract, and the subsequent years are likely going to be far below market value, and that's where you have friction. That's exactly what happened with Danielle Hunter when he signed his 5-year, $72 million deal, and there's friction right away because he was massively underpaid to start with, but he had no leverage because he was out of the guaranteed money. So players don't want to hear this, but they really should sign 1-2 year deals every single time with guaranteed money. That's exactly what Darrelle Revis did, and he maximized his money every single year. Now, yes, there is some security in getting a 5-year deal because the signing bonus is going to be larger. The guarantee is likely going to be a little bit larger too, but I mean, you're really trading off your financial flexibility down the line for some short-term security. And I understand the NFL, not for long, catastrophic injuries, they happen, knock on wood. But with JJ, what makes JJ's contract different is that it's a 4-year extension, basically a 5-year deal, but it does have significant guarantees and practical guarantees through year 4. And also the pay rates in the latter years. I mean, yes, he's going to get lapped as other guys get paid, but they're still going to be relatively competitive. That's what the difference is. And the back years aren't just fluff and trash to make the agent feel better about his deal, like Tyreek Hill, like Devontae Adams, but it's a legitimate contract for a legitimate player. And so, again, also, the fact that once this contract runs out, he'll be 29 and he'll be in a perfect position to get paid again. Another massive deal, whether here or somewhere else, hopefully here. So I think that's what went into it because, yes, it's a long-term deal, but it's a legitimate long-term deal with guaranteed money deep into the contract. Lastly, Vincent Tolliver, Andy, with the success of year 1, and if it can go wrong, it's going to go wrong in year 2. When you look back at both of those years, do you think it was actually beneficial for a young head coach like Kevin O'Connell to experience this early in his career? Yes. Where you could say, 2022, everyone talks about point differential, but finding a way to win games, those close single-score games, like that does a lot for the confidence of the team and the locker room and those young guys over there, even though he was still a veteran-laden team. And also, like Kevin O'Connell getting off to a good start, I mean, that had to increase his confidence, get his mojo going. That offense is pretty damn good. His inaugural season as both a head coach and a full-time play caller. Now, year 2, I mean, adversity, either you win it or you learn, right? And the Vikings learned a lot of lessons last year. And I think Kevin O'Connell definitely took a lot of them to heart. And yeah, 7-10 definitely sucked, but the gong show at quarterback. But also at the end of the day, there's a lot of very winnable games in there. The Bengals collapse in there, the Bears game certainly in there as well. The first Lions game, and there's a lot of spots where Kevin O'Connell can learn a lot about himself and a lot about this team. And this is a young team, but they're got to be pissed off about what happened last year, especially Justin Jefferson with that injury now coming back. And I feel like those experiences definitely galvanized Kevin O'Connell. I think that last year's experiences for Brian Flores will do great things as well, where he basically took a 31st ranked defense and made them top half, top third of the league with largely the same personnel running on smoke and mirrors and duct tape. Now imagine what he can do with his guys starting to be trickled onto the team, which is something I love. So yeah, I mean, the past is the past, but I think that everything that happened the last 2 years will benefit Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings long term. But that's it. That's it. Q&A for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.